Hello. This run continues. I think I have made a decision in that this Switch Axe run is going to be the last one of this lot of attempts, regardless of how it goes. And if it dies before I manage to complete it, or before the month ends, the March ends, I suppose I should say at this point, then it will be more for you. To fill up the rest of the time instead. Because the deaths are taking a toll. As they are wont to do. Hey Weiss, hey Ramhan. How you both doing? How are we doing today? I'm okay. I am aggravated. And I have a slight headache. Those things may be linked. Probably. But I slept better than I did the other day. So, you know, that's a win. And I get to play fun games. Can't complain. Rando runs are a bit frustrating. The normal rando is fine, but the permadeath, doing permadeath runs over and over again is... It saps your soul. Saps your soul power, you know? Takes your brain away. Hello, Gando. How you diddling? The sleep is why you're feeling bad. Everyone knows you function better on 2 hours. Dude, I become such a zombie on bad sleep. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I wish that was true. Then I wouldn't be so horrendously crippled by it. Oh yeah, I can get this right now, can't I? See if she gives me a good one. I have an anime game tomorrow. I hope to see how it will all unfollow. Nice. Nice. Yeah, this is after the, you're going to kill him shenanigans, right? As well. So you might end up in a very large battle. Potentially. Any chance I'll boot up Wilds tomorrow for the title update? I genuinely had forgotten that it was even close. No. I will not. I will not. I should probably uninstall it, to be honest. It's taking up space for no reason. I truly just feel like I've been intentionally like deceived and manipulated multiple times by Capcom now. So it's just a matter of principle. It's not even like about the game itself, it's just principle. I don't care about performance updates. They can make that game run on fucking 700k and 6,000 FPS on my PC, I wouldn't give a shit. They've lost me. You don't know how to convince your fellow party members and allies? Yeah, do you have any, like, evidence, or was it just kind of no more than a hunch? You're waiting for title update 3 for, number 3? Is there anything elaborated on for number 3? As of the moment? Give them little kisses. That'll do it. That'll do it. They haven't even announced title update 2 properly. They've just done the teaser for Land Gaia, Chris, right? The data mines? If it is trustworthy. Oh, I already ran up here, didn't I? Silly. Yeah, I remember you said there was Laggy and Cerigios in the game files. It's the same data miner who's been right about everything. Fair enough. Oh, you can do, yeah. I truly don't think at this point that anything can get me. That's an insult for you, boys. Hey, Notary. How you doing? Sen? Let's have a peek. Dude, that sucks so much. Well, it was a good run while it lasted, eh? It was a good run while it lasted. I hate to say it, but my prediction has been correct so far as well. Do you remember what I said before the game even released? Wait, no, it had released, but before I'd even finished it. That everything would be either something that already existed or just like a sub of something that is in the game. There would not be a single new monster for title updates. What happened? I think the last part of any desire I ever have to play a new game in this franchise again just obliterated itself. That's what just happened. At least we get the best cutscene in the game right now. That's pretty good. Since this cutscene seems to work every time, and it's always great. Cursed as fuck monsters. You want them to go back to release and full ass games? Cool games that just work, please. Title update feels like a scam. I was all on board for title updates with World. I was really happy with it. Because World released and I was like, you know what? It's a finished game. I'm happy with this. I'll take it, you know? And then we occasionally just get some free monsters. It's got an endgame mechanic that flows into like master rank that you don't need to fuck with at all if you don't want to. Wonderful. Gives you something to do at the end of high rank, but you don't need to fuck with on any subsequential playthrough ever if you don't want to. Maybe a little bit for some decorations, but even then you can just like basically not care because 4 slots. Iceborne, same thing, it was good. They just like upgraded stuff that already existed. The Guiding Lands was a bit... I feel like that was the first warning sign, was the Guiding Lands. The fact that you couldn't fight like Tempered Elders and stuff straight away. Because the regions just didn't go to high enough a level, that was kind of a problem, right? Wait, no, did they? No, they did go to high enough of a level straight away. They just added new regions, so even that was fine. Although it kind of felt like they held back 2 regions initially, which was kind of shit. For no reason. So that's kind of the issue there, I suppose. But you could still augment everything even without messing with it, which was good. And then Rise, they just, like, didn't finish the game and used title updates to finish it. Sunbreak only had a half-implemented endgame until title updates came along. If even half implemented. now there's another game at release that's just not finished. What the fuck is that? I couldn't even tell what that was. Is that Kulu? Oh, hi, Kulu. You right up there, buddy? No, you are not. Oh my god, your legs. Your back legs. Dude, that's intimidating as fuck. Him crouching like that? Right, remember to be careful with Kulu. Kulu could end this run in an instant. Normal large monsters should never be a title update. It should only be big old bastards, yeah. I can genuinely really see the value in giving people access to the game for like maybe 2-3 months and then dropping an update which has, like, you know, a Frostfang Barioth, Alatreon, and a Fatalis in it. Maybe Safi as well, right? Just like those four all at once after like 3 months, and that's it. People get to play the base game, they get to enjoy all of the stuff that's in it, they get to do the endgame grind. You know, they get to enjoy their finished product. And then a little bit later down the line, you're like, hey, you know, you've had your fun with what's available. Here's your really fucking difficult fights that you have to struggle against now. So maybe instead of Frostfang, like Raging Brigadios would be a good option there. You know? Even that's kind of like just put them in the game in the first place, but... I can see the value in that, at least. But the way that title updates happen at this point is straight up just like, yeah, we're gonna early access. You're gonna pay full price. And then over the course of the next 2 full-ass years, you'll get the rest of the game. It's a crying shame, to be honest. It is a crying shame. To use a really unfortunate example. Wild Hearts had additional monsters added after release. But you know what? It felt fine. I never saw any of them, but what they released seemed like it made sense. The game by itself, it had an end game. It was all there, you know? All they did is release stuff that was harder. It didn't feel like it wasn't finished. Crazy. How you doing, Moose? Welcome. Drip feeding large monsters feels off, like you're fighting tempered apexes to a Mizu, yeah. Also, like, at least from what I know, for Title Update 2, they've got Land Gaiacrus, right? But in Title Update 1, they have AT Raidao? So you're gonna fight AT Raidao, go down to Lagiacrus, go up to Tempered Lagiacrus, but it's still below AT Raidao? It's a bit like... a bit strange. That's how they want to do it, then, like, power to them, but... This feels a wee bit confusing. Wee bit confusing? In terms of just, like, logical power scaling, you know? World, Base World had that problem as well, though. I think exactly the same. Hello, Oni. How are you? Unable to escape from the horrors of this topic, as always. Oni tunes into a stream, they're talking about it, leaves the stream. This is Oni's life for the rest of time. You're doing well, good. You looking forward to the title update? Blah, blah, blah. 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 The Mizu and Laggy gear has to match the title of the late game gear to make them appealing. Well, that's the thing, there isn't any, so... It will match because there isn't any late game gear, really. It's just Arkveld, which is a flagship. We're wild bashing. Not necessarily bashing, I would say. We're discussing the strangeness of the title update logic and how title updates feel like they have lost their initial intended purpose as title updates. Wilds is included in that, obviously, but at the very least I was also positing Base Rise as an example. And Master Rank Rise as well. To an extent, even Iceborne. Isn't there arty and stuff? Oh yeah, true! I didn't interact with that system, I completely forgot about it. Yes, there is like some Artian system that I can't remember how it works. I think you just custom make weapons to some degree. I think it's like a weird mixture between like Rusted and the other thing that I wanted to say that I lost. Fucking Hernitor. So Shia being a title update makes you boundlessly angry. Yeah, I think that's entirely fair. Does feel a bit disrespectful. There's free weapons where Artians are not the best? Oh, really? What free weapons? Gyros, please. Hunting horn, bow, and maybe light bowgun. Cool. Very cool. You're very looking forward to it? Good, good. I know the monsters that are in it, but have they shown the gear for said monsters? Or is that still a little bit of a surprisey prize? Only the visuals? Okay. Is there a equivalent, do you know, for the Arc-Tempered armors in this game for Radar? Because in this game, Arc-Tempers had their own armor sets, didn't they? Like the Gammas. There is Gammas? Okay. Hey! Hello, Raka. Gotta get used to it. Yeah, that's so hard to adjust to. AT Radar is different. Good. Good. I'm glad they have done that. Because that would have been kind of poopy, right? It's like, oh, our tempers. Then, like, at least the immediate thing that my brain goes to is the fact that the ATs in World had different armor that was typically very good. It was kind of the benefits of the A and the B, right? In one juicy little package. Even if it was, like, technically busted as fuck, but whatever. World never had good balance. Good balance is truly unattainable in Monster Hunter. I will stand by that point for the rest of the time. If they keep bringing back monsters, you want them to bring back new ones through title updates? Aggie Sign, give Durambros, Gamoth, Celtus Queen, not Rise World monsters? Yes. Yes. Yeah, they kind of hamstring themselves, right? Is the issue with title updates? Because everyone wants a monster that's going to be something more powerful, otherwise there's no point in using any of the gear that they've got. That's like endgame. So they have to add monsters that are more powerful, which completely destroys any monsters from, like, below flagship level from ever coming back through title updates, essentially. Which is kind of crap. Because there's so many monsters. Too many. Any monsters take more time than forwarding existing. That's why most monsters in past title updates. At that point, though, it kind of begs the question, though. Like, if all they're doing really is forwarding it, why did it need to be a title update, you know? It does kind of become a bit of a head scratcher, at least in my mind. We're happy we got a nice number of new monsters in base game. Oh, the base game roster is brilliant. In terms of, like, new monsters and variety. The size is a shame. Truly, the size is a real bummer. But the variety and the, like, skeleton usage as well, top-notch. Absolutely top-notch. Yeah, base world's roster was disappointing as well. So that comparison, at least for me, is like, that's the problem. It's smaller than a roster which was already kind of a bit too small. A problem with base world. At least in my opinion. I suppose that's the cost of having a fully fleshed lot of new monsters. As we get more. Try hiding in a corner. Try is like a fucking developmental hellhole though, and I think everyone knows that at this point, right? The only thing I would say with it's four monsters shorter. Are you including Guardian, Arkveld, and Zoshia? Because those two don't count, in my opinion. No? Okay, good. Because they like it's just not fair to include them, right? You fight them both once and that's it. Cool. A lot of people aren't, and I don't think it's fair to be like, oh, it's only got 2 less monsters, and it's like, well, it kind of doesn't, though. It does have 4. Guardian Wrath and Dosha, like, they're weird, because, like, if we want to take out Guardian Wrath and Dosha Guma, we kind of need to take out Azure Rathalos and Pinkian from World. If we're comparing those two. I think Guardian Wrath, in particular, might be a little bit more egregious than Azure Rathalos. But it's kind of like... it's kind of the same shit, but it just smells a little bit different, you know? Shia is a new monster, you just only get to tell it once. It's specifically the fact that you only get it hunted once that makes it... it's kind of like a half monster, right? It's very cool, but... you forgot the color rafts existed. The hunts are different for sure. I feel like Dosha is more different. I haven't played it a terribly too large of an amount. But if I'm not mistaken, the only difference for Guardian Wrath is like 2 moves? He's got the big slam that spawns things around him. And he does, when he's flying, he does a claw swipe, which makes Wilk appear. Then he kind of does a 180 land and fireballs at you, but potentially hits the Wilk. They're the only 2, right? That he has. Like, they're different. But I would say it's about as different as you would expect from an Azure Rathalos. Like, he flies more. That's Azure loss. He flies more. He has, like, maybe another move as well. Almost on a games of variance, there's a lot of cutting down. Exactly, right. Which is why when it comes to those two, if you want to take them out, you have to take out, at least with the world comparison, Pink and Azure. Base world. Because from a substantial standpoint, it's functionally the same mechanic. It's just they're covered in, like, stone scale looking stuff instead of being covered in... Don't keep hitting the fucking birds on this quest. A copy-paste paint tool visual change, right? That's the only difference. That's it. Also very clearly the point of subspecies is to pad to some degree, right? Hell, it's the only reason we even have ranks, really, is to pad as well. Low rank, right? High rank, G rank. Give them a little bit more attack, give them a little bit more defense, maybe give them one more move that plays into the tropes of the way that they moved previously to exploit your what you presumed was an opening. You know what? I can't be asked to do that. That takes way too many hits. Hello, actually, Slim Man. Welcome. Welcome. I find it kind of funny that you forgot the color drafts exist, Mace. When the urgent quest that you need to do next in 4U is Pink Rathian. Specifically as well. One of the ones that is in world. Very funny to me. That was so hilarious. You didn't even look. You didn't even know that it was Pink Rathian. They're in every game so often in progression. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Your Freeman world save is on Pink Rathian as well. You just straight up deleted them from your brain somehow. I mean, I think they were first in... Was it Freedom? Is your loss? 1G? Yeah, Freedom G. 1G. So definitely at that point in time, it is clearly just like... Take Rathalos, make him blue, give him a different armor set. It's padding. We added an extra monster, guys. We promise. What, my favorite weapons? Dual blades. Dual blades are my favorite by a long shot. If we were to say I have 10,000 hours in the franchise overall, probably about 8,000 of those hours are on dual blades. I love him. Great work. Great work. Oh, that's the wrong one. You, Slimmin? It's always cool to see what people think about weapons. Your favorite subs are the ones that move into a different locale and have unique adaptations, like Fulgur and Anjanath being a good example. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. It is... I like it whenever they have like an actual functional difference to them. You know? Like, Fulgur's fight is very different to normal Andra. Coral Pookie, instead of like being relatively close range when he's doing poison attacks being a bad thing, you want to be close range when he's doing water attacks. That's the type of thing that I love for a subspecies. That's really fun. Because it makes an actual, like, functional difference. It's not just the same shit again. You did the Brighter Shores event? There's no trading because there's no duplicates. Oh! Oh, okay. Fair enough. Cool. That's good, at least. That is a subspecies, it's variants you're not a fan of. Isn't that the other way around? Because Azure Rathalos is a subspecies, right? And he functionally doesn't change the fight like at all. It's the same fight. Except instead of him being in the air 50% of the time, he's in the air 70% of the time. Honestly, classifications are kind of bullshit. Anyway. I think we can all agree on that one. This is so arbitrary. Well, Azure-Lost is a subspecies because he's blue, you see? But Silver-Lost is a rare species because he lives in the tower instead. Okay. Why? Is he not just a subspecies as well? Because he's rarer. Okie dokie, Capcom. Various Apexes, it gets confusing. Oh god, Apexes gets used in 3 different ways now. It's a shitstorm. I do think World's definition, even though it's not the first one, and the one that, by extension, Wilds uses, is the one that makes the most sense to me. legitimately the best type of subspecies, even though I'm not a massive fan of the game, the best type of any of the, like, changed monsters is deviants. Because it's, like, relatively clear why they're deviants. And even then, it's still not entirely clear. Japanese naming conventions that can't have more than one subspecies. Yeah, because they just call it Ashu. Which is terrible. Variants should be the same monster with a few differences, so our subspecies should be different, like typing from your understanding. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Do I have the Iceborne DLC? Yes. That's why I was able to use the Clutch Claw there. You can't use the Clutch Claw if you don't have it. Ashu for subspecies and Kyoshu for rares. Such a weird choice to do it like that, man. I'm really glad that that did not follow over when they translated it, because the translated names are so much better. Might be one of the few things that gets, like, changed from localized release to be superior. You missed me using it, you were eating. Fair. Fair. Frontier eventually moved away. Frontier is a, kind of a separate beast in its own regard in that way, though, right? In the sense that it can't quite be compared anyway. Just because it's in that weird place of, like, not mainline, but still had oversight, but not really. Huh. Was there even Japanese developers for mainline? Initially? I know it eventually went back to them again at the end, but it was? Okay. For some reason I thought it was different. You might be right, Oni. You might very well be right. What would be a variant in that regard? Because aren't all of the... all of the Rise monsters are considered variants, but those are, like, wildly different, right? I don't know, shit's just confusing. Savage Seething, yeah. Yeah, those make sense. Then... it's just a illogical system. That might be a problem of game type? Portable versus... mainline? Shrieking, Seething, Ruiner, Savage, Furious, and Frostbite. Which, by the logic that you've stated, all makes sense. But then where does Azure Loss fit in? Because it's technically a subspecies. But that might just be because it's old as fuck. And they didn't come up with the variant logic till later. Did something call Azure a variant? I mean, I'm calling him a variant by that logic. basically the same monster, but with a little bit of difference. He should be a variant, no? Not a sub? Because the only thing that's different about him is he flies more and he's a different color. And he has, like, maybe one more fire attack. It's typing all elements don't shows exactly, yeah. Same with, like, Red Kezu. It's, It's red. His weaknesses change, but doesn't that happen for the variant monsters as well? Their weaknesses change. No? Furious is still weak to ice. Savage is still weak to everything. I don't know about Frostfang because I haven't remembered it. I think Ruiner has his ice and his dragon flipped, right? Like, he's weaker to dragon than he is to thunder, and I think normal Nergi is the opposite. In modern, not in the older ones. Yeah, I think that is might be the problem. Is the what has become the variant term is what, like, all of the old subspecies are. They're variants, not subspecies. In the newer games. But they're still called subs, and it's so confusing. Not even getting into rare species as well. It's Rathalos, but it's red, or it's blue, or it's silver, or it's like dark red, I guess, with patterns on its wings. Back in early world, before you knew anything, you made the poor mistake of calling Luna a variant, because of English language, variant means something similar to another. Yep. People hated you. That sounds about right for this place, unfortunately. It's like walking into a Pokemon Legendary Mythical debate. Oh, is there a difference in that as well? I thought they were all legendaries. Dude, why do they come up with these terms and then not stick to the fucking terms? Every franchise falling to exactly the same fucking problems, man. It's funny. I mean, to be honest though, Oni, if you were talking about Freedom Unite Lunastray, you would have been like a bajillion% correct. Freedom Unite Lunastray is like 100% someone hit the copy paste button on TO, slightly changed how it looked, and made it blue. And then had the audacity to claim it was a completely separate creature. How many elders have gotten subs? I don't know, because I don't know what a sub is anymore. There is Orochi Kirin, Ashen Lao Shen Lang. Whatever the fuck Valstrax is called. Goldbeard Cedius is a good one, yeah. Halogen. As well. Ruin and Nurg. Magnamalo isn't an Elder Dragon. Is that it? That might be it. Malzeno! Technically is the wrong species. Wait, that's not confusing at all. Malzeno is technically the wrong species. It's primordial Malzeno is Malzeno, and then like corrupted Malzeno, which is called Malzeno. Not corrupted Malzeno is actually the one that's a sub. Don't worry about it. My brain, yep. Well, you see... It's all bullshit. That people care too much about. Oh. Valkyrie, Cedius, and Gen. Yep. So pre-4th gen, basically. Rusted Kashala. Rusted Kashala. Fuck that thing. I only remembered because I said pre-4th gen. Rusted's a variant. Huh? Makes sense. I mean, but no. Hold on a fucking second. Goldbeard's a fucking variant then. The bitch is just gold. That's the difference. Goldbeard is a subspecies, and I'm shitting gold bricks. No. Fuck these classifications, man. You check the JP name to confirm. They call them Ashes. They clearly don't know what they're on about. Just saying. Does Capcom even know what a subspecies is? If Rusted Kashala is Kashala but old, and Goldbeard is Cedius but old, how is one of them a subspecies and one of them is a variant? That literally does not make sense. Straight up, they're just wrong. If that's what Goldbeard is. Because they've what you called it themselves. Hell, it's not even an old one, it's just one that needs to shed, right? Rusted? It's not even necessarily like it's old, but like it would go back to being a normal Kashala once it got rid of its skin, no? Also, isn't Deviant Nagakuga just an old Naga anyway? It's a bunch of crap, dude. It's all just a bunch of crap. We can't even use Wiki as facts because it could be edited by anyone. To be honest, I don't think you can even use Monster Hunter games as facts themselves, because I am truly of the belief that at the very least, up until World, potentially World and further, the characters in Monster Hunter games are incredibly unreliable narrators. So much stuff is just like legends and like myths passed down through oral tradition. You ever played the game in primary school where you like whisper into each other's ears and then you have to get round to the end and see if the word is the same? Like, that shit doesn't stay true, like, at all. Telephone? Yeah, we have a bit of a racist name for it in England, so that's why I explained what it was instead of saying it. They're made by different teams and all the info shared correctly? Yeah, exactly. States you call it the telephone game. Yeah, in England, at least in the south of England, I don't know about the north. At the least it used to be called Chinese Whispers for some reason. Don't shoot the messenger. For the love of God. Where am I at in Rando? Legiana is my next quest, Eugene. I am just doing the, like, pre-Legiana prep that I do, basically. Run around a lot, let the farm build up some things, get my stuff maxed out in the farm, all that stuff, you know? Get some ingredients filled in, get some, what do you call it, done. Lots of bits and bobs. How are you, Eugene? Welcome. Yeah, Monster Hunter games are different teams. Info's not shared correctly. I think they're unreliable narrators. Different people have different logic around how shit works, you know? It hasn't been updated as time goes on. It just gets left as it is. It's just a disaster. Although they updated Gore. That was cute. At least. You like playing Sword and Shield, Charge Blade, Bow, and Light Bowgun. A mix of ranged and melee. Very cool. What did they update about Gore? He's now classified as a Demi-Elder. You're cute, remind you're a cute patoot. That does not count, my partner wrote that. They're, incredibly biased. Oh, interesting, yeah. Gore is Demi. Which is, like, it's fair. It's a good classification, right? He is a pseudo-elder. Elders can't be, but if you're a Demi-Elder, you can. Hey! What is, what's the official classification for Arkveld, Tony? If you happen to know. A flying? He is a flying. Okay. That is what I expected. That was my assumption. I never looked. I just went, oh, he's a flying wyvern, and then never actually checked. Which is kind of bad of me, to be honest. Is, Shatrakabra, I really wish I knew how to say his name properly. Is he an amphibian? Correctly, as he should be? Good. Because they changed the crabs in Rise, right? Some of these flying wyverns you call bullshit on their flying capabilities. I mean, if you want to go by that logic, Lutski. However, like, we call penguins birds. You know? Like... Come on. Looks at Diablos. A Cantor and Eucadlos are flying wyverns. The fuckers don't even have wings. But no, they're flying wyverns. They've been flying wyverns forever, Gano. They're still Carapations. What is it that they changed then? Oh, was it Ragnar? Ragnar's not a Temerashian, right? Or something? I swear there was one in Rise that was wrong. Maybe I just remembered correctly. He has tiny little flaps on his forearms. Aww. Guess what your Pookie was? Kirin. It's like the worst thing it could be. Remember what you told me to change? Oh, your high rank Pookie. Shit. Ragnar was still a Temerashian? Oh, okay. Never mind, I'm happy then. I swear there was a class. What was the? Wasn't there a classification that they just straight up deleted? What was that one? Was it the monkeys? They changed them into fanged beasts instead of something else. The monkeys. Was it the monkeys? Didn't the monkeys used to be Pelagius? Are they still that? I swear there was one they got rid of. I might be losing me fucking mind, man. Pelagius is only in Gen 1 and 2. I knew there was one. Became Fang Bees. How dare they? The audacity. The audacity. That's fine. There's still Pelagius in my heart. But Zenoga! We had to change. Fuck Zenoga. Oi, leave my boy alone. I refuse. He's done nothing wrong. I disagree. He kept showing up when he needed to go to sleep for like one generation. And it's too much. Tell that to Rathalos? Yeah, stop showing up, Rathalos. You're appearing too much. There you go. I'll tell it to every goddamn creature in the fucking mainline franchise that shows up too bloody much. Okay, Rathalos, I just put that Gyros to sleep. Specifically so me and you could throw this. Please be on the right side of the fence. I would. Every goddamn flagship shows up too much, as far as I'm concerned. I do understand Rathalos specifically, unfortunately. You allow the lunar weapons? Yep. The only ones that aren't allowed are the defender weapons. So that's a laggy. Dude, I unironically wish that Legiacris had shown up less. Because land Gaiacris is a dog shit fight. Yeah, you got lucky, Eugene. That's the thing though. If you get the Luna weapons, you got lucky. If you get the end tier defender weapon, it's still stronger than a G rank weapon. That's why defenders aren't allowed, but Lunas are. Rathian, no one cares about Rathian. No one even remembers Rathian exists half the time. I love Rathian. In my mind, at least, Rathian and Rathalos exist for one very distinct purpose. They're threshold monsters. They show you where you're at in the game as like a constant baseline in every title. I wish they weren't. I genuinely would love to understand the motivation for why they did that in Rise. In Wilds. To be honest. It's a really weird choice to just remove the Wrath head breaks. Really, really just like strange. The only thing I can think is that it just essentially served no purpose because you can get so many generic materials anyway. But then it had a plate drop, so like it was useful. Still. It's just weird. It's weird. Yeah, I was as well, Eugene. I think I even mentioned in my first Rathalos hunt after I'd broken his wings. I broke one wing, broke one tail, and I was like, man, this Wrath has got a really fucking hard head. Until someone told me that you just can't break it. I was like, oh. They removed the head and the claw breaks from Core. It's so weird. The claw breaks from Gore even had like a specific associated material from as well. So that's even stranger. They removed the breaks that were mostly just scars so it didn't confuse with wounds. Maybe, but that just like innately does not make sense to me because a wound glows bright fucking red. It could be why, but that doesn't make sense to me. But a lot of stuff doesn't make sense to me anymore with Monster Hunter, so it checks out. Rathalos? Hello? called a flash bomb. The wounds are shit. I disagree. I genuinely think the wound system is exactly the same as the clutch claw system. It's a good innate idea, and it's just executed upon poorly. It's no way near as bad as the clutch claw was. At least in my opinion. It's an improvement is the correct verbiage of that word. Over tenderizing. But the fact that you can, like, break the wounds to get specific benefits for, like, different weapons, for some weapons that makes it basically required to play the weapon with any good level of output, that's the fuck up. Problem wounds you have is they show up too easy and a monster flinch on demand, yeah. I mean, monster flinch on demand, let's be honest, has never not existed. Though, if you know what you're doing. Watch anyone fight Tigrex from Freedom Unite with a greatsword or a hammer. He's an egregious problem, but it required more game sense. It did, which was the somewhat good thing about it. But it has always been there. It's just now incredibly visible. Wounds you can utilize during combat and combos damage to go out the fire. The way to do a 5-step process. Yeah. Clutch claw wasn't the problem. I agree. The clutch claw wasn't the problem, it was the implementation. Clutch claw by itself is fine. It's the things they did around the clutch claw that are the issue. Also, way too many people have a problem with clutch claws specifically because of the Wex change. Even though it changes literally fucking nothing about the way you would use Wex. Every single one of those people does not have a valid argument, man. Oh, but the fact they changed Wex. Yeah, but what were you going to do anyway? You were going to weaken the spot because it increased the hit points. Which was going to be the head, because that's the weak point. And then you were going to attack the weak point, which is the head. So functionally, Wex hasn't changed. I understand that argument to a degree, but also, like, the way that they play, it has changed fucking nothing. If they don't want to tenderize, it's a nerf. But these people want damage so badly that they will 100% of the time tenderize because it makes hit zones better. So it doesn't do anything. It's exactly the same bullshit as it was before. The genuine problem is claggers. Claggers are terrible. It's great for speedrunning. I only can agree with that point. For the sake of the speedruns, the claggers are wonderful. But it is terrible as a game mechanic. Double standards, yep. The lance claw counter and the sword and shield uppercut are cool. Everything else is a chore. I think the dual blades one is pretty neat as well. I'm very biased towards dual blades. I will admit. I'm not gonna deny. But the dual blade exploit with is very neat as well. The weakness attack. It also actually gives you a reason to use part of your moveset that otherwise you never touched because it was just kind of terrible. So that's fun. The hammer one's good also, yeah. Some of the moves are good. Mod changes wax back to 50% all times, but Tenderize isn't as powerful there. Yeah. That's one of those things with the Iceborne Community Edition where I'm like, this is not a change made for the sake of balance. This is a change made for the sake of appeasement. That's the one thing I'm really happy they never did with Base World is change it back. It's that and like the Gunlance changes. Is it Gunlance? I think it's Gunlance. That really, really dissuade me from trying the ice mod. Because it feels like an attempt at a community patch, but someone is just trying to sneak in their own personal balance changes in there as well. Excuse me. You want the monster fight to be a dance of some sort? All those mechanics are slowing it down. Yeah. I understood that. I understand that. They basically only consulted 1 to 2 people per weapon. That doesn't surprise me. To be honest. That mod screams small knit team who has their vision and doesn't compromise, basically. yeah, if you have dude, I forget that people still don't know that because I've been doing it forever now. If you have Slinger Burst on your weapon, not Slinger Shot, but Slinger Burst, so this one, like this, does not work. You have to be able to do the one which is like this. You can instantly break vines. Anywhere on the map. Yeah, I learned it from the speedrun as well. But I learned it from the speedrun like fucking 4 years ago or something at this point. I forget people don't know it. Always messes me up. Yes, that is a mechanic. It works the same as when a monster breaks through them. So certain weapons don't have access to it. Like longsword just can't do it. Because longsword doesn't have Slinger Burst anywhere in its moveset. Where the fuck is my target monster? The weapon's got changes for the sake of changes. Longsword, for example. Cries and Gunlance. Oh, does Gunlance not get Slinger either? Can't Longsword do it during Spirit Combo? I didn't think it got it anywhere. But... just shove it all in the gun barrel. That is pretty cool though. Even though it's a pain in the ass to pull off, man, does it feel good with Gunlance when you get a full burst. combined with the stake being stabbed in, and it just blows up like 12 times in a row. Or oh. I'm sorry, but where the fuck is the monster? Longsword does have Slinger Burst? Mid-comp? Really? What the fuck? Oh, hi, Odo. That'll be why I can't find you, is because you're actually moving around. Because you actually work in this map. What's up, buddy? Excuse me? Can I have my fucking slap, please? Thank you. Dude, does every weapon in this game just somehow have Sling Burst? Other than fucking Gunlock? So many more weapons have it than I thought. Twitch, do not take offense to that. Like, Twitch takes offense to anything, man. Oopsie. It's TO to Diablos. You were stunned and they didn't hit you. Oh, lucky. Okay. Please, 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 please. I'm gonna die to the fucking effluvium. Okay, I'm good. Hello, Droop. Can you SOS non-player characters when you're offline like in Wilds? You can do that in Wilds? No. Can you SOS bots in that game? What the hell? Crazy. No, that is not a feature. In Worlds. I believe Sunbreak specifically was the first game to add NPCs. In that manner. So before that point, well, technically the final quest of Iceborne, I guess, but it doesn't really count. Technically, it was not the Ross. But it also doesn't really count. He was only there for phase 1. I'm gonna say it until the day I die. He should be dead. This game would be a better game if he was dead. I never even knew there was support hunters in Wilds, to be honest. I thought they got removed. I thought it was just the, like, story. Oh my god, this man hits me so hard. Pop and SOS, support players will join in if players don't, like there's a time. Okay. Do you get multiple or just one? Because I believe in Rise, you only had one or two, right? You get all three. Okay. Interesting. I wonder if they're going to turn that off for certain fights or not. Or if that's just always going to be there. Only online players in World? Yeah. And at this point, you are probably going to struggle to find anyone that isn't, like, just endgame and nothing else. There's the occasional, like, high rank, low rank person. But they tend to be replaying. Although it might be more common now that Wilds has come out, actually. People who've played it and then gone back to experience this. Oh, jeez. They're not very powerful though. They hit like wet noodles, right? They're there for taking aggro. I mean, just having aggro taken off of you is like crazy, crazy strong in Monster Hunter, right? That's something that people never realize in World. And they're like, yeah, well, someone joined, but they're doing no damage, so like they're dog shit. And it's like, well, they're taking aggro. They're working towards flinch values. They're potentially life powdering. Can you beat the game with one weapon? Or do you use multiple? You definitely can beat it with one weapon. You can beat every single Monster Hunter game ever with a single weapon. Type, I should state. A single weapon type. For this game specifically, I myself personally have soloed through the entire game with both dual blades and switch axe, including the super duper late game hyper monster that people struggle a lot with, completely by myself. Tomorrow will say goodbye and grind wilds. I don't imagine you'll be gone for terribly too long. Considering it's just gonna be like, what, 2 monsters? So, potentially even see you later the same day, right? But yeah, no, absolutely. Enjoy the hell out of it, man. Hope the update is pleasurable. Old days when Hunter was just more help unless they triple cart, yeah. To be honest, I prefer the new system. You're gonna be bowling? Oh, hell yeah, Oni. Good shit. Have fun. I pray that the soreness is not too much the day afterwards for you. It's always the worst bit about bowling. The random soreness. I'm like, I don't even have a muscle here, do I? Never made that sore before in my life. You don't care, which is unfortunate. I prefer the way the old system works, because it means if you have a 4-man lobby, you still actually sort of get a fight. You figured it out. Oh, we figured it out a little bit too much. Oh my god, where is he going? A wild update? Yep. I don't really either, but I can hope that people who play it have fun with it, right? You can raise your gripes with a game, but if someone is like, oh dude, the title update, I'm so excited for it, you can be like, fuck yeah, dude. I hope you enjoy it. I'm not going to be playing it, but I hope the people who do play it have a great fucking time. No, Slim Man. Dude, that sucks so much. I hope you can play through and have fun, instead of it feeling like a chore just to get your save back, basically. Because that's really... He just did blast with his tail. Diablos has blast. You can't say you dislike it when you've clocked over 100 hours on 2 platforms. As someone who was once a League player, your playtime is not relevant to whether you like a game or not if you're addicted. Looks at DVD. You can, unfortunately, with any game, definitely be miserable but can't stop playing it. Varies person to person, as does everything in life, right? This game's really fun, so you're enjoying it. Again, good. I'm glad, Slovan. Personally, my greatest joy from Monster Hunter comes from replaying it. The end game grind, the late game monsters, the maxing the guild card, all that stuff. It's fun, but the most fun for me comes from replaying it. That's where the good shit is. So I'm always happy to hear when someone else is like kind of forced to replay it, but like, I don't mind. You had a leggy with bleed, and it felt damn natural, yeah. Yeah, monsters with bleed on claws and stuff is good. You played World and Rise multiple times, you plan to do the same for Wilds. I really hope that someone makes a mod for Wilds that allows you to skip the walking sections. Because I feel like those specifically are going to make replay throughs, like, they'll be fine, same as they always are, right? But it's going to be very fucking annoying. Skip the cutscene and then you're just like... Give it a minute. Tell me back to playing the game. Because that's what genuinely sucked with World on replay throughs. Was all of the cutscenes. Come to realize you hate fighting flying types. Which is a shame, because they're the most prominent in the game. Unless you're on Xbox and PlayStation, then you cope, yeah. I don't know if they're in there to artificially expand the game. I think they're in there for like... Ah, there was a term that I learned, but I forgot the term. Fuck. They're in there to try and expand upon the story logic without you just having to watch a cutscene. So that you feel like there's some level of interactivity going on. But it doesn't make sense to have that when you've just had a cutscene right prior to that moment, in all likelihood. Immersive? It's not the word I want. There's a different word that I learned. Which it specifically refers to the feeling of disconnection between a game in terms of its story and its gameplay. Walk and talk, they want you to listen, but also, hey, look at this. You retained almost nothing. Yeah, I think it's an attempt at trying to maintain that, like, I guess immersion for lack of a better word, even though it's not exactly what I mean right now. Because if you're walking around together, you probably would walk. You wouldn't just full sprint at a monster, ignore your compatriots, right? But yeah, it's rough. So much less time as for these cutscenes. You can gather, which you thought was cool. Being able to gather in them is nice, yeah. I really didn't mind it first time round, but I could tell, even on the first playthrough, like, this is gonna be... It's gonna make replaying the game kind of annoying. For me. Not that I'm probably going to replay it at this point, but... the amount of times is small to you. Watching Bagel do speedruns, you get used to it, yeah. Bagel is doing speedruns of Worlds. Or has done. You're very persistent. I think the thing I have is that I can just be like, that's annoying, and then I can put up with it. Instead of being, that's annoying, and then be like, flip the table, fuck this. Capcom's the worst dev in human history. Like, I can see it, it's frustrating to me, but like, if I wanted to replay the game again, I'd put up with it, because like, the experience overall is worth it. I replayed World a few times before cutscene skip, right? It was annoying, but the overall experience is better. And that's fine. His first run took him 3 hours, 8 minutes from start to Zoshia. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. What's the, like, world record? Because I assume there's a leaderboard up. If you happen to know off the top of your head. Dude, worst thing about that speedrun, you don't get to hear by my order. Because it's a cutscene that you just skip. Oh, that was Ebony? I, for some reason, thought that was Ebony. It wasn't Ebony. It was normal. It was just Odo. For some reason, I thought that was Legiana. Fair enough. Fair enough, Eddie. Give you an expedition at every new locale, and then they have walking bits here and there. They're annoying in World as well. Yo, you know what would be so cool, tech-wise, for Wilds, though? If someone figures out how to break out of the things like they did in World. That would be so good. You know, we have Mercer Skip, and we have Admiral Skip. In whatever the hell that one's called. I don't know if that one has a name. In the Recess, where you can just, like, break out of the tether loop and then get around them. If you can do that in that game as well, that would be so fucking good. That would probably save so much time over the course of a run. Like, multiple minutes. Enjoy the lurk, Slim Man. Dude, I hope they find that. That would be cool. That would be really cool. Just a little bit more annoyed and found it funny that we got the council table again. The council table? Oh, in the tent where like everyone talks and no one says anything of fucking substance. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, why? That was really silly. At least you can skip through the dialogue. Yeah, yeah. Sounds like Animal Crossing talk. Amazing. Hello, Summers. Are you struggling with the bots? I did it. Do you find this jump, Oni, with the wedge beat you up onto this ledge, really difficult? Sometimes. Like, it shouldn't be, but sometimes it's really difficult. Okay, I'm just a moron. Cool. Good, 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 good. You've only missed it once, maybe twice. I genuinely probably miss it like 30% of the time. I don't know why. I just can't do it properly. Hello, Wiggler Lesbian. Amazing username. Brilliant. I'm a noob. We knew that since a long time ago, Eugene. That one's never been a secret. First playthrough? Dude, I wish. I wish. Give me that magic back. Of my first playthrough. I'll happily take that back again. World Vanilla was your favorite experience? World Vanilla was very good. I don't know if I can narrow down what my best one was. Because I have so many good, like, individual memories of different parts from different games, but I can never remember them as a whole. You know? Finally on home console with all your buddies. I've mentioned them before, but two of the strongest memories I have of Monster Hunter are fighting that double Tigrex quest in the tent on my PSP in the middle of the night as a child, hiding under the covers. And then the... Legiacrus I did at like 5 o'clock in the morning when I snuck into the living room as a teenager to play on the Wii. Those are like two of the best memories I've got, but I would not say that Freedom Unite or Try is like overall the best experience. Epic. Be honest, it's Monster Hunter 1. I'll never see Rathalos in the same light again, man. Never again. You still want to do the thing on Xbox where you can play 1.0? That would be cool. That would be cool. You should play other games? Other Monster Hunter games or other games in general? Monster Hunter games? They're worth it. They are worth it. Oh wait, you don't know if you want to say it? I mean, you can say it. Unless you're worried about, the norm, should I say? Try gave you the most memorable moments, it doesn't mean it's the best game. Exactly, right? I mean, I've got a lot of memories from GU, but, I think that one's for a fucking therapist to unpack. You're worried it will trigger a discourse? If it's what I think it is, potentially. The only bad thing that I can really think to say about it is that the land version is just, like, strictly worse. That's it. So it's a shame, but it is what it is. But it might not be that. I think that's the target monster. Land version, you don't think that's it? Okay. World hits you different. That's what Wild didn't achieve. Gave you a weird mix of Rise and World, which is obvious. More to Rise than the World side. I can agree to that, yeah. Actually. It feels like a combination of the two, but more Rise than World. You love World? I love World as well. World's a good game. I mean, I would hope that nothing ever gets terribly too bad here. But I know that when you are having rocks thrown at you constantly, all it takes is a pebble to break your spirit, you know? You understand the gripe around, you're sorry, but Wild Hearts S is dropping on the Switch too. You're super excited to see the game getting a little bit more chance. Is there discourse around that? In terms of Wild Hearts S specifically? The only thing I don't understand. Like, the only thing I have about that is I just truly don't understand why they've done it. I just don't get it. I'm glad for Wild Hearts, but like, huh? You know? We love the railgun summons. The railgun is cool. It's a cool weapon. What about the Switch 2? Yeah. Yeah. Anything about the Switch 2 to me is just funny because I was never going to get one anyway. So I don't really give a shit. The railgun. Summers is playing Helldivers 2. It isn't with EA. It's not with EA at all. Nope. Did Nintendo buy the rights? Is that why Wild Hearts got an update on Steam the other day? Nintendo have the publishing rights. Holy shit. Wonderful. Dude, that's brilliant. I mean, it sucks that Nintendo have it, but like, that's great. That is great. That's actually wonderful news. Oh, I'm so glad for them. Oh man, that's brightened my day, honestly. Thank you for that, Oni. Paul and the Veil. Yeah, just perfectly at home. Don't worry about it. Only thing you hope is if Capcom ever remasters for you, they won't be Switch 2 exclusive. I don't think you have to worry about them remastering them. I know that's sad. And if you, to be honest, I think if they did remaster them, if you're not a fan of the modern Monster Hunter games, you wouldn't want to play them anyway. I don't think they would do them as they are. I think they would remake them in a modern style if they were ever to do it. I mean, to be fair, Odie, if we wait till the Switch 3 comes around, by that point we might have 3DS emulation on the Switch. At which point you basically have a 4U port. Sorry, Oni, I had to. I had to. That's such good news. Genuinely, that's really good news. It's no longer under EA. I wonder if they're gonna give it more time then, and it's gonna get maybe more development and stuff. It would be really, really nice if it actually gets to have like its equivalent of G rank, for less of a better term. Because, you know, we've got the normal monsters and mighty monsters. So there is always a chance, if they wanted to follow the Monster Hunter formula further, there could be an extra tier, right? With Wild Hearts. That'd be brilliant. The only thing that sucks for me is that it's going to be it's Nintendo, so it's just going to stay Nintendo console exclusive, so I'm never going to be able to play it, which is a shame. It is a shame. But that's not on Nintendo as such. Or on Wild Hearts. It is on Nintendo, it's not on Wild Hearts. That's on me. Definitely gonna give it a try in the future. Other hunting games which are not Tokuden or God Eater are nice, yeah. It is my... not fervent desire, that's a wee bit too strong. It is of my great hope that we are provided one day with more options. Especially since Monster Hunter, at least for me, is going in a direction that I don't want anything to do with. It's not even Monster Hunter, actually. Monster Hunter's fine. Capcom is going in a direction I don't want anything to do with. The games are still okay. I would love a competitor that's actually, like, a competitor, right? Wild Hearts did genuinely have the chance. It was not there, it probably wouldn't have been there for like 2 or 3 games. Unless they went real hard on the second game, then it could have like started to compete. Maybe. I just don't think it would have had like the baseline audience. But logically, at least logically in my mind, more Monster Hunter style games should start to pop up now. Because Monster Hunter has proven that it's not a one-off. There is a market, you know? Because it's been World. World did really good. Rise did alright. Like, it did pretty good, but it didn't reach World's heights. And then Wilds has basically just, like, made every shareholder at Capcom cream their entire room white. So, it shows there is a market for this type of, like, hunting style game. The way you said that, I mean, am I wrong, though? If they take Wilds as a reference, you're not sure we're going to get what we want. Well, that's the thing. Whenever they take something as a reference, they tend to then make their own thing off of it, right? And people do pay attention to discourse around the subject, so people are going to look at the last 3 games and be like, okay, a very large common complaint is that people want more deliberate, less fast-paced combat. It's a niche, so there'll be less people to target compared to the greater market of current Monster Hunter. However, if they do it well, it's a niche that they will exploit and just straight up, like, win. Because Modern Monster Hunter doesn't even contest for it anymore. Right? So as long as they pay attention, it's not impossible. It's very hopeful thinking, but, you know? It's all about making shareholders cream. Unfortunately, yes. Do what Epic did, carbon copy it, make it free, fill it up with predatory microtransactions, and then profit. Do you mean, I can't remember its name now. Dauntless? Doesn't that die soon? Doesn't that dies soon, right? Please, please let what I want to happen happen. It would be so good. To be fair, when it comes to Dauntless, there was a game that existed in Dauntless at one point in time that was legitimately good. Like, actually a fun game that I enjoyed and was, like, playable without all of the bullshit. It's just, the people who were in control of it were unable to make a single fucking decision that didn't change the entire game every 6 months. What happened? I am desperately hoping that we get lucky enough that someone at the company saw what the update was doing and sneakied some files of the servers prior to when they did the update that truly killed Dauntless. At which point, because the game servers are no longer live anymore, as long as people don't make money off of it, it's completely valid to run fan servers. I believe from a legal perspective. So people would maybe be able to make the game into a state where it was actually a game instead of a crypto scam again. I'm really hoping it happens. It's an incredibly, like, infinitesimally small chance. But maybe. Maybe we get a game. I agree with what you said, Oni. Regarding Wild Hearts S going to other platforms. My only concern is Nintendo doesn't tend to be very... How should we say this? Willing to share a joyful experience with anyone other than themselves. If they don't get to make money from it, they don't tend to be very willing to put it in other places, right? So I find it unlikely that they've done a timed exclusivity thing. I hope they do, but I don't think Wild Hearts was in any position to bargain for anything. Compared to... I knew you were going to go for Rise here. Compared to Capcom, who has bargaining power. Wild Hearts would have been on their hands and knees, sucking whatever cock they had to, you know? There was no ability for them to bargain. Like Capcom can be like, hey, we'll give you a year's exclusive, we'll be a system seller. And then Nintendo's like, yes please, sir. Thank you very much. Still dev by Koei. It depends how it works though, you know? It does depend how it works. The question is if it's even going to be anything other than just Wild Hearts, but on the Switch. Which I kind of expect it to maybe be. Unfortunately. Yeah, exactly. There's no launch Monster Hunter game for this. Also, in terms of Rise, I think Capcom has a lot of power against Nintendo now to be like, look, the best-selling title in Monster Hunter we've ever had was when we didn't put it on your console. So Nintendo can't really, can't have as much fighting power anymore, you know? What the fuck is the title there? Capcom has Sony, they would destroy more money, yeah. Exactly. How you doing, Zoe? Good to have you. Exclusivity games don't exist. Nintendo ones do. Xbox and Sony, as long as you're a PC player, you get both. Which is kind of funny. But Nintendo, you don't tend to have a choice, right? You tend to have to get a Nintendo console. We are not taking piracy as an acceptable alternative. Because by that point, technically no games ever, you don't pay for anything, right? Slim Man, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the absolute horror that will be this run when it potentially gets into Master Rank, or High Rank, sorry, because it's going to get so much worse than it already is. What you will say, devil advocate in the room? I didn't realize Nintendo themselves were here. The devil? They turned up? To this stream? Shit. Sorry, yes? At least they know how to develop for their own platform. That's true, yeah. Something seemingly no one else understands how to fucking do. Brought Lies P. I saw that it was downloading. Have you managed to play any? I really think a shitload of people are going to be mighty disappointed when the Switch 2 comes out, to be honest. Though. Because I feel like there's this weird expectation of some kind of, like, NASA-level PC supercomputer for £400. And, like, it's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. You're up to Master Rank Sis HR53. Nice. You're shooting through pretty quickly then. I suppose if you do have the knowledge, right? It's the third-party games that struggle most. I mean, I'm gonna say what I said in my Discord server earlier. The Switch was the first sign that the majority of gaming trends were shifting towards the performance does not matter, sell the game. Why optimize it when you can just sell it anyway? The Switch was the first sign about that. The first, like, major, massive sign. So many games on the Switch just not optimized. Way too much graphical fidelity. On a console that is just never gonna run it. Cyberpunk? Yeah, well. I mean the first, like, consistent. As in it wasn't an occasional little nugget of, like, scumbags, scumbags, scumbags. It was every, like, second title on the Switch just doesn't run properly. And people are always blaming the Switch for it. And it's clearly not the Switch's fault. Well, the hardware's old. Yeah, but the hardware is set, so you know what you're developing for. I mean, if we want to bring Fallout 76 into this Oni, Bethesda's been bad since, yes. They literally don't learn anything. 16 times the detail! It's being made by our B team, by the way. Dude, Todd fucking Howard. It just works. Dude, fire that man. I genuinely wonder if Bethesda would be a better company if fucking Todd didn't exist. Depending on the company, when they're making a game for 20 years, give you something like Dragon's Dogma 2 or Wilds, you can't really come up with excuses. Yeah, exactly. Regardless of how you think of the game's play, you can enjoy them. If you don't have performance issues, that's great. Wonderful. Enjoy your time. But when a company has existed for that long and has produced quality games mostly without issues for that long, there is no excuse why the performance is that bad. Literally none. A basil and a blank space. Cool. No excuse. 95% of those previous titles were on PC. That's fair, Zale. That's fair. World, Iceborne, Rise, Sunbreak. None of those had problems that were as bad as Wilds, so how have they done it now? 4 games isn't enough to get a plethora of experience, but it's enough to have a baseline level of not making something that crashes entire PCs. It is a fair point that you might expect it to be a little bit worse. But to the degree that it is disgusting. And like, Capcom has made games for PCs for quite a long time now. You know? The Resident Evil games have been on PC for a decent little chunk of time now. And God knows they pump those fuckers out like babies. In terms of remasters. And that's also Capcom. I think there's multiple Devil May Cry games on PC, if I'm not mistaken. They have experience. As a company. And that's the wonderful thing about a company that's also a developer. A publishing company that's also a developing company. You can be like, hey, person from different department, can you help with the PC optimization? That's kind of the whole point. Perfect optimization is a pipe dream. I do 100% agree with you. But as far as PCs are concerned, that's an fucking possibility. Never gonna happen. Ever in a million years. But Wilds? That release should not have happened. Well, did have a rocky launch? It did. Yep, exactly. But it wasn't this bad, right? I understand I particularly had a fucked experience. I was on the extreme end of things. No, very few people have had stuff as bad as I had it. Almost high rank? I'm already high rank. This is a high rank quest. Blue are negative crits, correct. Horizon World came later. Yeah, if they needed more time, they should have just given it more time. Wild Hearts for Switch 2 is interesting. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit ago. Hoping that it is maybe given a chance to have some life again. Maybe it will get updates and stuff. Because they have gone out of their way to consciously give it a different name, even if they've just added a letter to it, you know? They have given it a different name. Game runs fine on consoles, and it's a mix between good and bad against PC players. Plays flawless to some like yourself, plays terrible to others. But it's just how PC, because variables and difficulty. I understand to an extent. The only thing I will say on that point is that I have seen multiple people who have exactly the same PCs in terms of specs have vastly different issues, and that doesn't make sense. Right? That is just illogical. even from a PC perspective. And I don't... When it's bad to that degree, that isn't just it is what it is type of thing, right? Because it just can't be. Also, I massively fucked up on this quest. I can understand how difficult it is to optimize, and I can recognize that. I can respect it even, but like literally that's exactly presumably why the game's released later on PC the previous 2 times, right? Because it's so much harder. Do it again. Just do it again. Just delay the game again for PC. Rise, it was different because it probably had a year's exclusivity. But World, it came out at a later date because they'd never done a PC game before and it was harder for them. Just do it again. Just do it again. It's really not difficult. I don't give a shit about how mad people are. Capcom could change the fucking color of the title. And people would send them death threats. You can't try and be like, as a company, well, we'll make people mad, you know? They changed the Scoutfly color from green to something else so you can actually visually see it. Fucking die, you know? Like, this isn't a case of trying to make people mad, it's making your game a baseline fucking work. For more than, like, 60% of your audience. I struggled, you know? I decided to keep playing because I wanted to give it... What the... Oh, we repelled. Okay. What the hell happened there? That was such a weird way to repel him. I don't think I've done that before. Mid-mount. Trying to please everyone is a horrible mistake. If you just have some fucking, like, openness, people would accept it more, right? They'd still complain, because, like, people will never stop complaining about anything. Me included. I am guilty. But if you had said... If Capcom had come out and genuinely just been like, look, we want to release the game on PC at the same time as all the other consoles, but we're having trouble getting it optimized to run on as many things as possible. So we're going to delay the game by half a year in order to make the game run more effectively. People would have been way more understanding. There still would have been people like, people are always going to complain, right? But it would have been like, you know what? That's respectable. That's respectable. The open beta was enough reason for you to wait. It ran so terrible. You know what the funny thing is? The open beta, both times, runs significantly better than the actual release. For me, I never crashed. I never had a single problem. Never crashed my PC. Never had any polygon monsters. Never had my audio glitch out and disappear. Nothing. 4 hours of game release. My game has crashed when I picked it up. My game has crashed my PC 3 separate times. Interesting. There's more variables at play because there's a lot more information. What? I'm doing 0 damage? But also, like, what happened that it got that much worse? Because no problems to crashing my entire PC is not, like, a small step. Definitely a lot more reason why. There's a lot more files, there's a lot more information, so many more, like, bits of code and stuff that could be problematic. I understand. But it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Code fun, yeah. It's one of those things where I understand it, right? Like, I do understand. And I feel for them to a degree, but, like, Capcom's such a big company. I don't expect them to be able to playtest everything. It's just unreasonable. I don't expect them to be able to find all the bugs. But, like, crash to desktops, we'll ignore my crashing problem because mine is clearly on the extreme side of things, right? It's just ridiculous. The normal problems that people are having, hard crash to desktops, and all that sort of stuff. You gotta fix that stuff, man. I'm a fringe case. Like, you can't try and fix the problems I'm having. That's a waste of resources before the game comes out. Like, genuinely, that's a waste of resources. I'm 1 in 100,000. You can't try and do me. But just the general, like, crashing people's PC, you gotta do that. God. There's Flash games that can crash PCs? Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's nothing new, but, like, just because something isn't new, it doesn't mean it's not a problem, you know? This is the thing, Oni. This is the thing. There is a letter a couple of days ago. It's true. It shouldn't have taken a month. I agree with you, people are ignoring the letter. An entire month, however, is an unacceptable amount of time. It's not only a month, it's an entire month. 1 month. 1 month in which most people have completed the game, who are really hardcore and love it, done with like everything. Probably stopped playing it, a good chunk of them. 1 month is a lot of time. Mountain out of a molehill, I entirely disagree. Like, unequivocally cannot agree with that. If smaller companies with way less staff, way less budget, way less everything can see the serious problems, put out a piece of information in 2 days, be like, we see there's problems, we're working on it, why can't Capcom? In a week. 1 week. You know? They don't have to fix it. That's too much. Just a brief Twitter post. We see there's problems, we're hearing the complaints, we're working on it. It's like 10 words. You know? You don't have to be sorry. I just think that when we are paying these companies as much money as we are, not necessarily individually, right, but overall, as a group, as a collective, how much money have they made from this game? And you can't even be asked to say, we're working on it. They've proven themselves. This is the thing, though. For me, for others, that may stand true. For me, with recent games, they have proven themselves to be unreliable and not fix things. Dragon's Dogma 2 is my core example of this. It's not the Monster Hunter team, but it is Capcom. So I cannot go off of previous Goodwill. Goodwill? Hello? My German audience is infecting me. No, I will not make that comparison. It's the same company. And the person who causes these problems is never the devs, right? It's the publisher. The devs are very rarely the cause of why things go out without being fixed. It's because the publisher wants to push it and make money, even though they're being told that it's not ready. And if we want to go with that, base rise. Is my other point. The performance is fine, but they released an unfinished game. COVID is maybe an excuse, understandable, but they still released an unfinished game and then tried to pawn it off as title updates. I'm never saying they're not doing anything about it. I'm saying that they're, like, pretending it's not a problem. Not acknowledging it is like a lie of omission, almost. Just say something is going on, you know? It's so simple. It's so quick. Literally, you just say, yo, PR person, say we're working on it. They go type a message on Twitter, you're done. Because, as Crimmy has said before, the thing with games is it's not how technically impressive they are, it's not how it works behind the scenes, it's not how, like, intricately mechanical complex something is. It's how it tries to choke you out in the middle of your sentence. It's how it feels to play. That's what's important. The bits behind the scenes are all very cool and very impressive, but it's not important to the average person. It's how it feels. And when you're someone who's having problems and you can't play something, and then they haven't even sent a message to acknowledge something, it feels like they are ignoring the problem. They might be working on it, but what is actually happening and what it feels like is the difference. That's the problem. There's some games I've played that are mechanically, like, beautifully well made, but they feel like dog shit. You know? Because it has Capcom. Yeah, yes, Oni, because it has Capcom. Genuinely. Yes. And even if you ignore Dragon's Dogma 2, Base Rise. Exactly. It shows where the publisher is willing to release a game on. What they deem acceptable. Because ultimately, they have the final say. Not the Monster Hunter team. You know? I don't know shit about Squeenix, to be honest with you. I don't play any Squeenix titles. I actually don't know what Squeenix publishes other than Final Fantasy. I have no idea. Do they do other games? Do they even publish Final... That is Squeenix, right? I think that's Squeenix. Hello, Paladin. Welcome. Kingdom Hearts! Okay. Okay. I mean, this is like, I don't know how to put this in a way that makes sense. That I hope would convey the point. So I don't think I can, unfortunately. You're a chronic long-time lurker? Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So you never need to say sorry. What we are having is discussion. I trust everyone here. We might come away with different opinions. Me and Oni won't agree at the end of the day. That's a-okay, you know? If we can convey our points to each other and we at least understand what each other mean, even if we still don't agree, that's what's important. Me and Oni might feel a little bit frustrated at each other, for example, while we've had a little bit of a tussle on our views. But at the end of the day, we'll still, I don't know, feel compelled to send each other a meme about Wilds. Literally first thing it comes out. It's what Oni did for me. It's no big deal. It's just a conversation. We don't have to agree. It's always good to have more perspectives, because more perspective means more elaboration on the matter at hand, and more knowledge. People might have access to knowledge that otherwise others don't, you know? You love Wilds, but to put it in perspective, you had to spend an extra 2k to be able to play your most anticipated game. Oof! Yeah, that hurts. That is painful. Yeah, that's the thing for me as well, right? Wilds is the reason I upgraded my PC. I don't have my upgraded graphics card, but I did spend £1,000 to be able to play that game. To hopefully its full extent, and then it doesn't work for me. That's not their fault, but it does hurt. You think PCs are temperamental medium will always be the point of contention due to the variables? You'll say only as a console player that they both run fine for you. I understand this point to a certain degree. I really do. My counterpoint, though, is why is it that some... No offense. Like, shitty one-person indie dev who's never made a game before can somehow make a game that runs on everyone's PCs completely fine? Not completely fine, that's an exaggeration. But, you know, the level of issues is never the same. But Capcom, with all of its resources and all of its money, can't? It just doesn't make sense to me, like, logically. I understand there's going to be problems, but, like, if a one-man dev team can do it, the scaling up, it scales up. You know? Everything scales. I know it's more difficult than that, but, like, intrinsically, that just makes sense to me. Dude, I am fucked on weapons here, by the way. Absolutely shafted. Side point. Never mean to sound harsh or offend anyone. You're literally just trying to get an understanding of the topic from another POV where you feel indifferent. Yeah. It was something, but it's locked behind weapons I otherwise can't get, Eugene. Unfortunately. So it's something, but it's also not something at the same time. Yeah. See, I agree that, and I understand as well. But you also have more people looking for mistakes. In theory. You know? One-man dev team means one person is looking for mistakes in the code. A 10-man dev team should still mean that there is 10 people looking for mistakes in the code. To you know, not give a very good example, because that's not how that works. At all. You're terrible at being devil's advocate. You say that a lot. You try and look around the problem instead of just looking at it at face value. See, I do that as well, which is why I'm actually even more annoyed. And that's okay, Zale. That's fine. It happens. You know, something is gonna get missed. That's life. But my problem isn't necessarily that one thing has been missed, or two things, or 10 things. Unless there is, like, let's go with an argument of 10, that there is 10 bugs causing all of these problems for all of these different PCs. Which is highly unlikely. Also, there is multiple people who know stuff about optimization who are like, yeah, it's terrible. Like, it doesn't go any. But for some reason, when you bring these things up to people who like it, that is unacceptable. Like, Other people have inspected it and they're like, yeah, the optimization is just bad. It has genuine problems with, like, the code. The fact that the VRAM logic builds up and it doesn't ever clean itself, so eventually you will have, like, a VRAM-related crash. That's not something that gets missed. You can watch, open the game, play it for an hour, look at a screen and be like, that's building up too high, you know? And I feel like that's a thing to be justifiably angry about, but then when you're angry about it, people just make excuses for the company. Or, and I know that's not what you intend to say right now, Zale, people say there's no appeasing the angry people, which is way more fucking annoying. When you're trying to, like, make actual genuine complaints, there's no appeasing some angry people, they just want to be angry. They probably never even played the game. They're just pissed, you know? But when I'm trying to put genuine complaints out. Genuinely, there's some issues. There is some issues. Everyone can accept that, even if you love it and you don't have any yourself. But everyone's so busy trying to fucking choke each other out instead. It's a fucking joke, honestly. It's a fucking joke. Everyone's just minimizing each other's points. That's why I like talking about it with Oni, because I know he's, like, playing devil's advocate and we're actually having a conversation about it. Oh. No, you're not annoying, Oni. I'm annoyed at the whole fucking situation. I'm annoyed that for some reason, when the game works for people, their reaction to the game, the people that the game doesn't work for, is just, sucks to be fucking you, instead of being like, yeah, we should hold this company who we paid fucking money to accountable for the thing that they fucking made. Sorry, I'm actually angry now. I apologize for raising my voice. Yeah, the people who are running, like, stuff that doesn't meet minimum spec can take their graphics card and shove it up their ass. Like, clearly you are the problem. People, yeah, everyone just assumes idiocy or negative intentions, definitely. No one's ever like, you know, maybe this person doesn't have 6 IQ. Oh. Yeah, that is a big red flag, Paladin, for sure. You need frame gen to get to 60 FPS with a modern day graphics card, huh? What? In stark contrast, by the way, to direct information from the people who make said graphics cards, which specifically says you should not use this for quote-unquote low frame counts, which I believe is classified to be under 100. What's a modern-day GPU? I believe a 30 series onwards, only, in terms of NVIDIA, to the best of my knowledge. Which is above the minimum specs for the game. The minimum spec is a 2080. So with my knowledge of graphics card, which is very spotty, I will be completely honest with you, I think if you have anything from a 3070 onwards, you should be able to play it. with frame gen enabled, even though that's in direct contrast to what you should have with frame gen, but you know, that's a different point. That is my knowledge. This is very lucky, by the way. Hence we treat people like they're stupid because it makes us feel better about our own stances. We don't want to admit we may be wrong, so the opposition is clearly stupid out of mind. That's true, yeah, that is something we do. We also put ourselves into groups of people because it makes us feel, like, safe, basically. You know? The minimum recommended for frames is around 60. Yeah, so you should be at 60 before you start using it, rather than, using it to get to 60. People don't like the idea of putting down your settings. Yeah, 100%. Mine is at minimum, by the way. I tried it on everything. Absolute minimum, absolute maximum, some weird, horrific combination of in between that, quite frankly, made me throw up that more than minimum did. But the problem is, like, just why assume that the person you're talking to is always stupid? You know? Why? Because if the people that you are talking to are always stupid, you're probably stupid yourself. Because you keep having conversations with stupid people all the time. You know? And I know that I do not have a great amount of intelligence. I have incredibly specialized knowledge. In fact, all of humanity has incredibly specialized knowledge. That's kind of our shtick. We're really good at knowing, like, just a few things very well. Or we're very good at having a broad, like, range of shallow information. It's kind of how we work. But you don't devalue your quote-unquote opponent's point by making them dumb. You devalue your own. Because you're arguing against someone you think is stupid. So they're never gonna listen to you anyway. Like, what? It doesn't make sense. You will admit that it works well and is hardly noticeable with 40 FPS. Well, interestingly enough. Oh, really? Cool. I had to turn my frame gen off because turning my frame gen on crashed the game. I am very much an outside case with performance issues on that game. I am a special boy when it comes to that game, truly. I don't really understand the logic of not wanting to admit you're wrong. Dude, I'm wrong all the time, and it's great. Because every time I'm wrong about something, I learn something new. You know? Well, hopefully I learned something new, instead of just being proven wrong. That's not very helpful. You're wrong! Okay, but what's right? You're wrong! Thanks! No, I don't think you're trying to change my mind at all, Oni. I'm just annoyed at human beings at the moment. I can't refund my wilds, I don't think, because I played it for 50 hours, so... That's an outlier way of thinking. But my question is, why? What come first, the chicken or the egg? From a biological perspective, it would have been the egg, because it would have been a progressing evolution over time, which eventually led to the animal that we currently know as the chicken. So it would have been something else first that had a slight mutation, which caused it to become more like the chicken. It's definitely the egg. Because the animal before it wouldn't have been known as a chicken, it would have been known as something else. Frame gem seems to be hit and miss. Yeah, yeah. The oven would come first. No, that's for the chicken nuggets. You don't put the egg in the chicken? Silly Oni. The chicken comes from like the egg comes from the chicken. The chicken goes in the oven. It's great. You don't put the egg back in the chicken? I mean, you really should not do that either. That is probably wildly unhelpful for the chicken. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Don't do that. Put it back. Put it back. You never annoy me, Oni, don't worry. You never annoy me. The topics that we talk about make me think about other people, and that annoys me. It's not your fault, it's their fault. You thought you'd come in, chill, and have fun? Is that not what you did? Every time Wilds. At least we weren't talking about the game itself, really, right? We were just talking about the performance. Which I don't think is a comment on the quality of the experience as such, right? Even though it's still frustrating if it's something you enjoy. It's at least a mildly different thing, I would say. At least it is in my mind. You know? I have insufficient points. Fuck. That's a problem. Enjoy it for yourself, tune out everyone else. If only that actually ever worked, eh? I say that as well, and I attempt to do it, but, like, it never works, man. Especially not when you're like me and Oni, and we're in very public-facing situations. With the thing that we are typically trying to avoid, specifically. Especially for poor Oni, since Oni's actually streaming. Dude, the name of the game that I was literally just talking about. Wilds. It left my head. Holy shit, I need a fucking dementia check, dude. Oni is actively streaming it, so it's a lot harder to avoid it, you know? Because people love to come in and be like, hey, you're playing the thing? Isn't it dog shit? You just gotta be like, the fuck are you talking about? Can you try avoid the asking thing? That doesn't make sense. Is the avoid thing a topic? What is the avoid? Or you aren't making sense. I think you're having a stroke, not me. We're like politics. It's weird. Are we? You get annoyed with how everything has the massive discourse surrounding it? It's because we can't just have conversation. We have to have arguments. Not me and Odie, like in general, you know? You stream well to people like, why you know like GU? You're right, it is like politics. Dude, I never thought about it like that way before. It's 100% politics, you're right. You play a game completely, like, unrelated, and people come in and are like, what's your opinion on feet? And you're like, huh? I've never thought about that before. You're 100% correct. That's so funny. I'm 29 only. Baby? I mean, that's the wonderful thing that people don't realize at this point in time. You don't need to have an opinion on it, you know? I'm a fetus? Well, I have always been told I'm very mature for my age, so, I did peak at 2. So at this point, I'm practically dead, Oni. Nami attempt 4. I believe in you. You can do it, Griggle. You can do it. Change your skills if you need to. Think about some skills that might be helpful. I am dead inside. I am. It's true. Actually, I'm not, actually. That's a lie. I'm not dead inside. If I was dead inside, I'd give less of a shit. Unfortunately, I still struggle with the fact that I care. Sorry, my Twitch activity feed just flickered in a really weird way. Really weird way. If you want to start an argument, you'll find some Persona fans and go into why you don't like Persona 3. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, Sony. I saw you, speaking of your Gouda game, I see you are back to playing it, by the way. To transition into that topic in the worst way I possibly could, I do apologize. You never stopped? Oh, really? I thought you stopped to play Wilds for a bit. I didn't see you playing it at the very least. I saw it this morning pop up on Discord. Ah, okay. That'll be why I just didn't see it. To do dailies? I see. I see. Hey, Starlight. How you doing? You find it very juvenile, a lot of its writing subplots, and its way to early 2000s edgy. I remember this. You're doing well? How am I doing? I'm okay. My heart rate is a bit up at the moment, but I'm good. Play Stellar Blade. I will not. Paolumu again. Are you kidding me? I will not be playing Stellar Blade. No. Sag, I'm sorry. I find it very hard to play a game at this point in time where I feel like the entire marketing and like discourse of conversation about the game is just people talking about her fucking ass. Because I just can't bring myself to struggle with the conversation 50 times in a row of why I don't like the fact that women are overly sexualized in every game that I play ever. You know? The combat's super fun. Honestly, it will be ruined by the fact that everyone's just like, oh, I fuck her brains out so much. Just fucking constantly. It's just miserable experience. Unironically, is ruining gaming for me. Unironically ruining games. You were kidding. Understood. I honestly, like unironically, I know nothing about that game. I don't even know what genre it is. All I know is the female main character has a hell of an ass. That's literally it. However much marketing it's had, that's the only bit of information I've learned. Which, like, I'm probably not going to want to play it then, am I? If the only thing that's of any reputable note is her ass, it's probably not a very good game. As good as it might be. I mean, that's not hard, Kami. To be fair. The great study, and there's tutorial bench of tutorials how to do 3D stuff. Oh, really? That's really cool, Kami. You didn't play it for the eye candy. Most people don't play it for the eye candy, but it is something that influences people's decisions, right? Don't tell people what they think, Starlight. It's not nice. It's very frustrating. You heard good things about the combat and how similar it was to Nier. Fair enough. I've never played Nier, either. Any of them. It was enjoyable? Good. I am more interested, at least at the moment, in this Kazan game that came out recently. Mostly because I heard nothing about it other than specifically from one person. Derelict. It was like, yeah, it's a Souls-like and the combat is fun. And I'm like, cool. That's all I needed. Like, great. You got the Frost ending and you didn't like it. I mean, isn't the point of Nier that you play it like a bajillion times anyway? Because none of the endings are endings until you get to the ending. Don't you have a low bar for not liking games anyway? It's... Mace does, yes. Nier is one of those kind of games. As far as I'm aware, yes. I think there's like an entire alphabet worth of endings to Nier. I don't know though. Stellar Blade is a Souls-like, tries to advertise itself as technically, so no for you. The HUD is boring, the HUD is boring! How long is it to have that many endings? I mean, the one thing I know about Nier is that one of the endings is when, because you play like a robot, I think, or an android or something. One of the endings is you uninstalling your own operating system. Yeah. Which is fucking hilarious to me. When is there going to be an overly masked topless guy? Insert any game that has Booba Lady as well. That is the problem. The thing is, all of the games have both. But no one gives a shit when males are objectified. But whenever it comes to the marketing, the female form is like, from a genuine, like, study-based standpoint, more attractive to view from both. When this study was done out of date, so, you know. Assigned at birth sexes is probably the correct way to say that. Even if people identify themselves as a, you know, straight-born female, whatever, however you phrase it. Sorry, I'm bad with the terminology, it confuses me. Or if they are born female lesbian, born male straight, born male gay. On a, like, actual study basis, the female form is just more appealing to everyone. So that's what gets used for marketing. One ending because you're a robot lady was the beginning. You can uninstall your own operating chip, fine. Which, because you're a robot, kills you. I think that's one of the endings. So some of them are just like that. But some of them are like full game playthroughs, is my understanding. Way too emotionally attached, yeah, exactly. You can't have rational discussions at that point, definitely. that's what you meant. Like, yeah, I wasn't with what you were saying either, mate. You don't take that stuff personally. It's always the problem of like what they're saying isn't personal, but then they turn it into personal insults, you know? The main Legiana should get mad, and then I can lure it away. Go away, fly. Sorry for being straight. The problem I have with it isn't that the characters are attractive. It just makes sense. Because people want to look at shit they're attracted to, you know? The problem is that the game has been out for however long. I think it's actually out, right? And genuinely the only thing I know, until someone just mentioned it's Souls-like, and you mentioned it's like Nier, the only thing I knew is that the character has an amazing ass. Like, that's a problem. Genuinely. That's the only comment, like, so many people have to make. Rather than, oh, it's a great game, and the character is nice to look at, shall we say? Or something. I really enjoy the gameplay. It's a Souls-like. It's got good action. Like Eugene said, the HUD is maybe not very nice. The character is attractive. No, the only thing I know, us. There's good boomer too. Look, that's even that's more than I knew, but still, like, kind of unfortunate. Those were the only two things I knew. That shouldn't work. Cool. I think that is how it works. Lovely. The player character doesn't have to be attractive, yeah. They don't have to. Genuinely, like, unironically, some of my favorite things about Wilds, perhaps my favorite thing about Wilds is her name Olivia? I can't remember what her name is. The hammer wielder that you fight alongside in the story sometimes. She is an attractive lady, but by no means does she have, like, a basically perfect physique, right? In terms of what people would consider stereotypical attractiveness. She looks like a person who just is attractive. She has pockmarks or spots on her skin, as people do sometimes, you know? She has muscle in appropriate places because she's a hunter. It is wonderful. And it makes sense. Like, someone who was outside doing, like, fighting in inclement terrain and all of that stuff a lot of the time as well. She has an appropriate physique. Her skin would maybe be a little bit fucked up, you know? It's wondrous. And then on the other side, you have Gemma, who might as well, unfortunately, be a pair of tits manning a forge. I'm done, I'm out. But if you look at her character design, it is so highlighted. All the poses they put her in, the camera angles they put on her. It's all they highlight. Big booba. That's it. But she's got so much cool stuff that they can potentially explore, but it just doesn't get explored. You know? The jacket is amazing. People love Orma just as much. You know what the difference is between the two of them, though? Orma has a character. Gemma has boobs. Like, she does have a character, but it's like, it's just not, you don't get to see it much, you know? She goes through some stuff. She has a really nice, like, arc in the middle of the story. It doesn't last very long, to be fair. During the Fire Village part, from where she's grown up, something that she has presumably gone through that's semi-traumatic as a child for her as well, when her entire village just died. But you can't, like, write that incredibly, like, semi-serious section and then just, like, have 90% of her camera angles be her tits. It doesn't work. Alma's very good. The internet can't have poisoned me on it only because I have paid no attention to anything on Wilds. Genuinely. I've been spoiler free for a month, you know? I don't watch Monster Hunter stuff. Unironically, the longest thing I've ever spent watching a Monster Hunter video is when I raided you when you were doing a stream once and I watched like an hour and a half of your speedrun. That's like the longest I've ever spent in one segment watching a Monster Hunter thing. I just don't, for some reason. Prefer playing it for myself. I feel like her improv speech to the oil basin problem kind of came out of left field. If you don't know about Half, it's really out of nowhere to me. It feels like the clan leader should have done it, yeah. Or they should have set it up a little bit more in advance, but, you know, sometimes that's how it happens, just like an outsider. Spur of the moment, like, you guys are pissing me off sort of thing. That does happen. It does feel like they could have let it up a little bit better, though. But that's fine. The game's not really, like... You know, we're taking leaps and bounds with the story, even being something that we can discuss without ridicule at the moment. Also, if I may point it out again, her outfit, the waist is completely fine, her stomach being exposed. Her breasts, her having cleavage showing is genuinely like a just horrendous outfit for forging in. Like, hot sparks will get caught in that and they will fall into her cleavage and they will not be able to escape and they will melt a hole in her tits. It is absolutely horrendous. From a, like, standpoint option, it would be really, really bad for her. No, genuinely, the reason why people who do blacksmithing don't wear, like, stuff that can catch things is because if a spark hits you and bounces off, it's fine. If it gets caught on you, it is terrible. She's not dressed like a porn star, but she has a humongous amount of cleavage on display. As a smithy, that is genuinely terrible. You disagree? It is a fact of blacksmithing that you do not put spots in your clothing where sparks can get caught. Because it causes you genuine, like, horrible burns. If a piece of hot metal bounces off and gets stuck and you can't just brush it off immediately. You're also talking about monster hunter logic? Yeah, but you have to incorporate a little bit of both, you know? The belly is fine, actually. It's irrelevant for her work. If a bit of metal hit her belly, it would just bounce off and be fine. The cleavage is a problem because it can get caught and stuck. Tell me the reason why we don't die from fire and fall damage. I mean, according to the logic of the games, at least, the idea is that fall damage is essentially non-existent, right? Due to reduced levels of gravity or some bullshit. Because that's the only way, from like a logical perspective, why insects of that density would be able to exist as well. Is if gravity was significantly less, and also because oxygen density would be higher. Because otherwise the mass compared to the size of the beetle would be impossible for it to ever produce enough energy to make itself fly. She does have an attractive face, though, yeah. I agree. But they highlight in cutscenes her breasts. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. It's not a Monster Hunter specific problem either, like games do it constantly. Unfortunately. Yeah, different thing. They don't only have to show her head, but there's a difference between showing her, like... Let me put it this way. A lot of cutscenes are in profile, right? They're like this. I'm looking straight at you. Gemma's cutscenes will be like this. Did you get the problem? Normal cutscenes, this. Gemma's cutscenes, just tilt it up a little bit. They do it all the time. All games, constantly. Not sure about that, Chief. You can have a look. Have a little look-see. I also took my glasses off, and now I feel like I have to stop this segment. I don't care about the fact that she's attractive, really. I don't even really give a shit about the fact that she has her cleavage out. The only thing that bothers me is that it's a bad outfit designed for smithing. Every game's got characters with their tits out at this point. You can't avoid it. Unfortunately. Same thing with men, right? The 50-pack abs. Their body is broader than the rest of all of their body combined. Just their chest is like a fucking truck, and they've got these tiny little twig arms on the side of it, just moving like this. "90% of this armor is inappropriate hunting." And I have a problem with that. That is not exclusively a gripe. It is fucking dumb. The only thing I was fine with was Kirin armor. Because at least Kirin armor was sexualized both ways. What is the excuse for Fatalis and Alatreon in Worlds? Tits out all over the place. For females, males, it's full plate. For Alatreon. For Fatalis, it's not. It's like some weird, creepy thing. That I can't explain with words. And it's needless. Because they're hunting. They should have attire-appropriate stuff. If you want them to get their tits out, put them in cutscenes outside of their gear. Make them not wear their gear in hunts. Have off-gear hunt and on-gear hunt. Have clothing options. It's not functionally appropriate. I am playing this up. It doesn't bother me that much. But it is kind of annoying to me in games when you have people who are like designated stuff and then you just make their armor or their clothing entirely unfunctional for the thing that you have designated them as being. You know? It's a personally frustrating thing. I don't really hold games to it. But, like, you cannot use that argument against me. It does annoy me all the time. The fact that the armor is just not armor pisses me off. Something that I point out a lot. I think I actually pointed it out with Olivia specifically, potentially, as well. I went, oh, she doesn't have boob plate. She has armor on her chest. Because that really annoys me in all of the games ever. Boob plate is the most grievous fucking thing that you can commit for a suit of armor. It is the worst. Olivia is Hammer Lady, yes. Weapons are equally illogical. They are, yeah. But then where do the huge titty goes? Where huge titties go when you're wearing armor. You wrap them up to make them as small as you possibly can without causing yourself too much pain or discomfort. And then you wear your breastplate over the top of them, because if you've got a boob plate, you are creating a natural armor weakness, which is also worse because the sword is directly diverted into the natural armor weakness, which happens to be where your fucking heart is! But my titties! Go watch porn! My back door is open, by the way. This is a work huckster and multiple tizzies kind of day. It is, yeah. It is. It's almost like Monster Hunter isn't realistic. That's the thing, though. Monster Hunter does try to have its own realism. And it has gone out of its way to break the logic of its own realism over and over again. It's very frustrating, you know? It's all in good fun, it is, yeah. It's one of those things that bothers me, but I just accept it as a facet of games because, like, people need to get their horny on for some reason. Monster Hunter's always had, like, really impractical stuff, but it still generally made sense. Like the, Rathian armor from the early games. It does have boob plate, if I'm not mistaken. I can't quite remember, which is obviously a big detriment against it. And it has a plate skirt, which is like, I mean, it works, but you'd probably rather just have greaves, because it takes less material and offers better protection. But you know, it's stylized armor. Kieran was equivalently naughty for both people, so sure. Same with Nagakuga. He's got paralysis? Dodo. You don't paralyze Dodo? That's what the other guys on the quest do, you silly boy. You silly goober. But the more modern we've got with Monster Hunter games, the less the armor is armor, and the more the armor is just... Look at these tits. Look at this man's abs. Which is just the trend of games in general, but it's a shame. You know? Gamers don't fuck, fact of life. Only has a partner. I also have a partner. But clearly I'm a good Christian and I'm celibate. Why did they give her big thighs? I mean, that's just character design. There's a clear reason for why they did that, but based on the rest of her character design, in my opinion, some people have big thighs. You know? But when you take into account other stuff, it's... Kirin is still the same only, but in general, like, over game to game, there is more and more armor sets that are more revealing. Or are less armor as the games go on. Kirin hasn't changed. But there has been more and more. That's what the problem is. There's less armor and more booba. Or, like, more exposed chest, like Nagakuga, for example, right? For males, just abs. You can think of less than 5 sets in world. Anjanath, female, has exposed thighs. Male doesn't. Alatreon armor has just... Is it Alatreon or Fatalis? I think it's Alatreon. It might be Fatalis. Fatalis just has straight booba for the women, nothing for the men. Other than maybe the fact that it's like slightly form-fitting. I think the Legiana armor might just have exposed thighs for some reason. In every rank. At the very least in high, I believe. There is multiple things that just have skirts. That don't for male. Nergigante. True. Which is form-fitting for men. Skirts are fine as long as they're like battle skirts, you know? Like they actually serve some function. Compared to the male armor. It's always compared to the male. If it's fine for both sides, I don't give a shit, you know? I don't care. What pisses me off is when the male armor... Oh, I died. Whoops. I forgot I was doing a permadeath. I got too engrossed in the conversation. The male armor is normal, functional, good armor. And then the female armor will just be like a bunch of thighs, the belly's exposed, the tits are exposed at the top. And all of that stuff, right? I'm not even a bit bothered by it. This was the last run anyway for Permadeath. After this one, it was, it's just going to be for you all the time for the rest of the days because I don't really have enough time left for... Pardon me? The rest of it because I do not have the strength to keep going with the permadeath runs when I just keep losing them over and over again as soon as I get into high rank. it is draining me in a way that I cannot keep up with. I did 1 extra kill on this run. I mean, Wilds is sad to me, Oni, for the fact that a lot of the armor has gone away from being armor. A lot of it goes to, like, the fashion is fantastic, don't get me wrong. The fashion in that game is brilliant. But a lot of it is more fashion than it is armor. And at least for my sake, I like to be wearing armor, you know? My set might look ugly as fuck right now, and I've got a beetle on my helmet, which is completely illogical. But the helmet itself is like, it works, even though it's got some dumb design choices. This is still armor. So personally, I'm not a fan of that, but like, it's fine. That's just a personal thing, you know? That's the direction they want to go with it, with more fashion-y stuff, that's fine. I can work with it. I love the Quamatrix armor. It looks great. The thing where I think it becomes problematic is genuinely male is not sexualized, female is sexualized. You have both or you have neither. Wilds fixes that. Because you could wear both, but still, the thing that is kind of fucky, even though it's called Type 1, Type 2, which I understand why they've done, is that you still kind of know, based on previous designs, that this is male and female armor. Like, it's not armor set 1 visual and armor set 2 visual, you know? It's better, but like... you know. Baby steps. They're going in the right direction. They're going in the right direction. And that's what matters. That is what matters. It's good for variation with multiple armor pieces. There's some armor pieces which just look so much better in Type 1 or Type 2. Genuinely. And if you could mix and match them in older games, they would just look nicer. Even when it's like actually functional armor, there's just times where it would look better. But you can't, and it's a shame. But now you can, and it's really good. Rather than the, like, weird sexualization logic debate to it. Now you can just do whatever you want, and it's all chill. Which is perfect. I am gonna go on my break now. And get arrested because I just screamed to go watch porn. With my door wide open. I will be back in around 10-15 minutes or so. Right after I've had some cereal. I do still have some cereal. You don't need to be sorry, Oni. You don't need to be sorry. It's all in good fun. It's all in good fun. I love you too, buddy. You're great. I'll be back. 15-ish minutes or so. And then we'll play some for you. If you want more worlds, go into the world category on Twitch and good luck. I won't be streaming it for at least a little bit again. Because I am done with the permadeath now. I am at my tether. So yeah, I will be here for you if you just want Monster Hunter in general. Otherwise, see you in just a sec.